there's going to be a lot of questions in Golden State over when this ends, no matter how this ends, of what do we do next? Okay, Klay was willing to come off the bench in the end this season, but what does that mean for the contract that they have to negotiate now with him this summer? Do they want to be a team that just keeps it together no matter what until the wheels fall off? Have the wheels already fallen off? All of these questions are still coming up for them. It's a lot. I don't know. Quick on the Warriors, guys. Though, would you make a huge change there this summer if they either get in the play-in and lose, or if things don't end in a great way this year?
Absolutely, I'll make a change. I'll make a big splash.
What would you do
if they don't get in? What would I do?
Yeah,
I might have to figure out where we can put Draymond and Klay. I don't know. Boogie probably can speak to that more. He's played with those guys personally, but for me, it might be time to break up that dynasty. I don't think you continue to hold on to it. Just how they broke up the big three in Boston. It's got to be a point in time where you do break it up and try to move forward. Not necessarily meaning rebuild, depending on the draft picks and who else is available come trade time this summer. But if they don't make the play-in, then definitely got to get rid of some people on the team.
My opinion, I think I've spoken on this before, but I think it's time for a change in leadership at the head coach position. That small ball era of basketball is done, and I think that's what Steve Kerr's specialty was in that in that style of play in that moment in time. I don't think. The last championship team had a 7-foot center, so obviously the small ball era is over. I'm also leaning towards the leadership. I still think you have great core pieces in those guys. I think they're the foundation. I think they deserve to ride off in the sunset on their own terms. They've done that much for the Golden State Warriors. Once again, I don't just look at the production, of what they've done on the court. I think about everything they brought to the organization. When they purchased the organization, it was, I may be wrong, but it was somewhere around $500-600 million. You look at this organization now, it's worth $3 billion.
It's crazy.
Joe Lacob did not do that. Steve Kerr did not do that. Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson did that. And let's throw in Kevin Durant as well. Like, those guys did that. So, like I said, I feel like they should be able to go out on the terms they want to go out on. What Klay is going through, I get it, bro. Like, I was in that spot trying to, accept the criticism of guys who've never done it at your level, but you gotta accept, their opinion of what you should be as a player. Like, it's hard to deal with. So I know Klay's in a tough spot right now. But I think it's time for a change in leadership. I think those guys ride off in the sunset, and you figure out a new style of play and what talent to place around those guys to be a productive team. Steph Curry still has a lot in the tank. Klay has a lot in the tank, and so does Draymond. I think it's about filling out, the roster with real ideal talent that'll also enhance them and vice versa.
Because what can you fill it out with their contracts? What can you fill that roster out with? Again, everybody.
I'm not saying contracts shouldn't change. I said they should be able to ride off in the sunset.
I'm saying, but how do you incorporate other talent around
Klay's
them?
deal is not done yet, so we're going to see what happens this summer and whether Klay. They put an offer on the table to him this past summer. He didn't take it. Mm-hmm. Obviously, now that offer is going to be a lot lower. So the question is sort of, how little are you paying him, and what does that free up? I don't know. They're still way overextended.
That's the reason I said I understand the place Klay is in, because it will be a change in, his value amongst the league. And I believe he think he'll be able to, maybe find it somewhere else, which may not be the case. You know what I mean? That's just how the league works. But I still think it should be something where this guy rides off in the sunset on his own terms. I think he's due to respect to figure it out. So that's more so what I mean by when it comes to that. I agree with you. Contracts do have to change because the production isn't the same. It's only one guy going to be making the money he's worth, and he's one of the faces of the league. Understandable.
Correct.
Also, I was going
Understand
to
it.
say is, by the way, it doesn't matter in the end what any of us watching think. It matters what Steph Curry thinks, right? If Steph would rather keep this team together
His
and just,
guys
hey,
will
let's
be
see what
there.
we can do, they will be there. If he wants Steve Kerr to stay there, Steve Kerr will be there. If Steph goes to management or management comes to Steph and said, what's more important to you, sort of the loyalty factor in being with these guys or winning another title, those are not the same thing anymore. I mean, it's pretty obvious
Right.
that those are two different roads. So it's okay. The answer could be either one. Either answer is okay. The question is, which is your answer? And I think what Steph answers that question will sort of determine this franchise. It's just always a bummer to see sort of some of the ups and downs and backs and forths of what you say are these great champions and guys who have given so much to just the league, the team. We've watched them do so much and accomplish so much. I'm very interested to see how this next stretch goes, with these teams we're talking about: Houston, the Warriors, obviously the Lakers.